I'm Brian Van, SportbikeTrackHere.com, and today we're going to get rid of this massive OE fender on our 2017 Kawasaki Z125 Pro. Okay, the Fender Eliminator we're going to install right now is a driven piece. My man's got two options over there. One that does not have any turn signals included, and then a second one now you can order that has the driven racing LED turn signals. The kit we have is the basic kit right now. I think he's going to send some signals out too, and we're going to install those so that those would kind of mesh together. But for now, we're going to focus on only doing the Fender Eliminator. And in doing this, you're really setting yourself up to install some aftermarket signals. We'll talk about that as we go through, but understand if you go with just the quick and dirty version, which is what this is, you're not going to have any signals. I'm going to look at this as I go through it and see if I'm able to install somehow the stock ones on there to make it work. Basic hand tools, right? He's got some nice instructions, photos. The instruction set there will work for either one with or without the signals. I'm going to start by taking the seat off. Just going to give me some access underneath to get to any of the connectors for the turn signals and the license plate light. Those are both very important things, of course. Okay, 10 mil. Got a couple of fasteners here. Total of 4. My expectations are this is going to be a really basic project, right? Just simple hand tools. We'll get all 4 of these off, and from there, this thing will kind of hang. And then we'll have to deal with the wiring for both the plate light and the signal. Definitely give Kawasaki credit. I mean, aesthetically, the mirrors and the signals and different accents on this bike, stock, they look pretty darn good, man. I think they did a pretty nice job. So if I'm able to get these stock signals to work on that Fender Eliminator, that would be pretty bitchin'. One more, you can see that I'm using a nut driver here. Just the 10mm socket. This is really basic hand tool stuff. Most motorcycle riders, or really anybody, is going to have a toolkit that's going to include something that's going to get this job done, right? Because it is that basic. Okay, 4 fasteners are out. And now you can see clearly that we've got to get underneath this area to deal with the wiring. Okay, we've got a retainer right here. Pop this out. Like so. And then the connectors are right here. Grab onto this, right? You can see it's just slid over these metal tangs right here. Pull up on the whole connector, rotate like so. You'll see these grooves right here. You're going to want to push down and then pull. That's going to disengage the lock. Do the same thing on the gray. Definitely finding you got to put some pressure on that release. You got to push down hard on that to get it to disengage. Pull these both through. I pulled off the little cover that goes just over the tail light. That was easy, 2 push pins. We have these 2 screws out. Now, if you look right down here, I know it's not well lit, I apologize for that, but you need to push in on the green panel, right? And you're going to just pull back just a little bit on the black side panel. You could take the whole thing off if you wanted to, but I think that would be a little more than is necessary. And you just need to get that Christmas tree clip out of there and then slide back. okay? See, it goes right through that rubber grommet there. And these clips, they engage when you slide forward. So if you don't feel comfortable, go ahead and take that whole side panel off. I really didn't think that was necessary, so. Now we have excellent access for this final connector. They've really got that wedged in there pretty tight. You can see they've also utilized a protective rubber shield for this wiring harness because it passes underneath that steel subframe. So you want to make sure that you get all that stuff back in there. Okay, you don't want to create a situation where that's going to rub through and short out. Now, to disengage that, push down the clip, pull back, feed it back. I'm going to slide that retainer out. Like so. You're able to totally release that. That is reusable, right? No doubt. So we got that. And now you can see the fender is ready to be eliminated. Go ahead and take this one, slide it apart as well, so we can reuse these if we decide to. The reinstall from here, go ahead and guide those connectors through the subframe, and there you have it. There's that gigantic stock, and you can see that's actually a steel piece, so you've got some girth there for sure. Now we'll be able to take off the stock turn signals, make a determination on whether or not I can fit those to this kit. Okay, the whole stock turn signal gig, you know what, that was a dry hole, right? We got no water. You could pull it off. I was able to get it to kind of work, but then you'd have to have spacers in between here and there, so we're just gonna leave that alone. I think it's a waste, right? Now, this kit would be really appropriate, the one without the signals. If you're gonna put an integrated taillight in there, we got one on the site that you can get. Competition Works, MPH, put it in there, you're gonna have your signals, they'll flash, life will be great, and that'll give you a cleaner look. Or you can get the driven kit with the signals included. They're aftermarket signals, resistors, that whole gig. You gotta wire that stuff up to get it to flash right. You could buy a different set of aftermarkets and put them in. So there's definitely multiple choices you could make. This kit without the signals would be most appropriate when used with integrated taillight. Now, installation. We've got our license plate light. Odds are most people are going to throw this thing in the garbage, but we're going to show you how to install it in case you're one of those folks who does not want to get pulled over. I've unbolted it from that stock frame using the same hardware. You'll notice that I did take the grommets out of that frame, and that was just to fill that gap in there. It just kind of looked empty without having something in there. So to clean that up just a little bit, pop those grommets out. Stock fasteners. These are just Phillips. I'm just going to snug them up because you can still rotate it for installation, no problem. So now we've got that like so, kind of get it square. Okay. You can put this bracket on at any time. What I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to put the fasteners through, put the nuts on, only finger tight, right? These are locking nuts, so we're really not going to go too far until we put a backup wrench on it. Okay, then we're going to get the hardware that we'll use to mount the brackets to the motorcycle itself. Okay, I'm going to pass this plate light harness just through the hole that's there in the undertail, like so. and then we'll begin to get our fasteners started here. Start off with everything relatively loose. You don't want to torque just down one of the random four, right? Get them all started. And once you've got each of the four started, you'll just want to begin to run them down enough that they're just drawn up, right? Put a little bit of pressure on. And once you've done that, go ahead and torque each of them. Then you can go back and tighten the frame. This is going to require a backup wrench because we have a nylock nut. Gotta admit, that does look pretty darn clean, doesn't it? It also includes hardware to mount the plate. Comes with locking nuts. We'll go ahead and just throw our temporary tag on there that we had from the dealer when we picked the bike up. The hole in your plate is actually smaller, okay, than the holes that we've got in this temporary tag, so I'm going to have to use a couple of these washers that I was going to use on my failed turn signal conversion. K&W Cycle over here in Utica. Those are my guys, that's where I buy my stuff. Good guys over there on Auburn and Ryan. Okay, and we'll get our T-hander, backup wrench, snug all this up. I could also put those kick-ass reflective license plate screws in there. That'll give you an idea of the angle the plate is going to sit at, right? Once you've got everything put together, we need to lower the table down just a little bit. When I'm done with this, I'm going to go in and order up a Competition Works integrated tail light. We'll come back next week and we'll rock that out, because that is definitely, at this point, a requirement. It's going to make the bike look really bitchin', so I want to get that done. Go ahead and get that plugged back in. Here is that protective sheath they kind of had, right, around the harness. You know, with what I got going on here right now, how necessary is that? Got enough additional slack. I've got access to get in there with a cable tie, so like I'm gonna use a different approach now to mount that. Okay, now let's wire up, reconnect that tail. License plate light here. This is stock light. Just gonna feed the harness through like so. Let's go ahead and get that retainer. Put that into place. Lock that down. You can see we've got some additional length here now, just the way I've kind of changed the routing a little bit. And I think in doing this, using that protective shield really, I question how necessary it is now. So at this point, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull the harness through like so, right? Just under there like that, and you can see we've got definitely some additional length. That's going to allow me to use a cable tie over here, tie that all up nicely. It eliminates needing that plastic cover, okay, because this is now completely out of harm's way. So I'll just run one cable tie around this, secure it to a harness that is tied down very close to the area I'm using the cable tie. Like so. We'll trim the end off of that. Pair of side cutters. All right. Get everything tucked back into place here. We don't have any turn signals back in here now, so what I'm going to do is these can just basically be slid back over the retainers, right, that are part of that subframe. So that way they're held in place, they're not floating around, you don't have the risk of a short. By shoring up, by tightening up this license plate light like I did, you don't have any wiring just really hanging down, so you get a good clean look here in the back. Now we just have to reassemble the body panels, reinstall those. Dip that in there, slide this in. Now we're kind of a slide forward, and then we need to look for that grommet with that pin, push the pin through, boom, you hear that click in positively. We've got 2 Phillips screws here. These each come with a plastic washer that goes between the metal screw and the plastic bodywork. These are not shouldered, okay? And if you over torque them, you could crack the fairings, so you're gonna wanna be careful when you tighten them down. There's no need to go crazy on these. Just enough. Like so. We have closeout panel for that tail light. Slide that back into position. And that's going to slide forward like so. Now we'll put the 2 clips back in. These are reusable. Take a quick look, make sure you've got everything secured. We'll clean this up, get the seat on, and when I come back, we'll bring this one home. Okay, there we go. Installation is complete. It looks good, right? I like that he does have an option. You know, you can go with one that has the turn signals. He's gonna send that as a complete kit. We're gonna get it like that. You'll have your aftermarket driven signals. You'll have the resistors needed to wire it up. All the hardware, you can reuse the plate light. That's cool, right? Now, if you want to use an integrated tail light, that's where this model right here is really pretty bitchin', because it's not going to come with a bunch of stuff you're not going to use. It's going to be just the brackets, get right to the point. You can install that, and then, hopefully from us, order that integrated tail light, get that bad boy wired up in there, and you're going to get your signals into the tail light, and that really cleans the back of the bike up quite a bit. The fit is nice, as always, from my man over there. The machining is choice. This is the driven, racing, Kawasaki Z125 Pro Fender Eliminator install. I'm Brian Van, SportbikeTrackGear.com.